Some of the most popular Dragon Ball Z villains came from the Dragon Ball Z movies, such as Janemba, Cooler, Broly, and others. However, one of the most popular characters from the movies, especially in Latin America, isn't even a villain. I'm talking about Tapion, the kind-hearted, sword-wielding Konatsian with a very interesting backstory, and he is the subject of this edition of Dragon Ball In Depth.
この放送はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Tapion's one and only appearance in Dragon Ball Z was in Dragon Ball Z Movie 13, entitled Dragon Fist Explosion, If Goku Can't Do It, Who Can? Or in the Funimation dub, Wrath of the Dragon. But although he only appeared here, he became one of the most beloved Dragon Ball characters. During the tape trading era of the late 90s, I often saw a lot of bootleg fan subs of Movie 13 entitled The Tapion Movie or The Movie with Tapion, so this guy had a lot of love. For me, I think this probably has to do with the fact that unlike a lot of the movie characters, writer Takao Koyama actually took time to give Tapion an expansive backstory. Now, although Koyama was the head writer for the film, and Toriyama was not involved in the creative process, Tapion and his brother Minosha are the only non-villain movie characters that Toriyama did indeed design. However, Toriyama did name the character, as his name was originally supposed to be Tapioca, but Daizenshu 6 tells us that the name pun for Tapioca was too close to the word, so he became Tapion. Of course, in the Funimation dub, his name was changed to Tapion, and that's really kind of like how they changed Saiyan to Saiyan. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, but just know that the pun came from tapioca. Yummy. Other than the obvious comparison between Link from The Legend of Zelda, due to both of them wielding a sword and having an ocarina, Tapion in fact mirrors another beloved character, future Trunks. What I really love about the writing of Tapion is the juxtaposition between he and Kid Trunks. In the film, Tapion establishes a brotherly relationship with Kid Trunks, who looks remarkably like his real younger brother Minosha. Trunks looks up to Tapion and saw him as an older brother, something that his best friend Goten grew up having and Trunks never did. A lot of people love to talk about how simplistic Dragon Ball is at times, but then it throws you some real deep shit like this. The backstory of Tapion is just as interesting. Tapion and Minosha are from the planet Konats, which is located in the southern galaxy. Apparently, thousands of years ago, a group of evil warlocks got together to perform an ancient incantation and revive the monster Hirudegarn, who was capable of ruthless destruction. Once Hirudegarn was unleashed, Tapion and Minosha fought alongside their people and used their flutes to trap Hirudegarn. An ancient hero used a magic sword to cut Hirudegarn in half. As a result of the split, Tapion and Minosha agree to use their bodies to contain the spirit of each half of Hirudegarn, and then, to further ensure the monster would never return, were trapped in music boxes and dispatched across the universe. One of the leftover warlocks named Hoi started a millennial search for the boxes to release the beast once more. And of course, like with almost everything else in Dragon Ball, it just so happens to be on Earth. With the help of the Eternal Dragon, Hoi successfully frees Tapion and the lower half of Hirudegarn from the music box. Tapion immediately realizes that although he is free, he is a danger to the world. So he acts very aloof and standoffish to the Z Fighters. It's very similar to when future Trunks first meets them. The difference is that Trunks was very shy to meet his father Vegeta and his present-day mother Bulma. Speaking of Bulma, she offers to create a containment music box machine to ensure that Hirudegarn won't be released and that Tapion can live comfortably. It's not enough, however, as Hoi releases the other half of Hirudegarn and the world is in deep trouble. Tapion tries to convince Trunks that the only way to stop the monster is to kill him with the sword. but Trunks' bond with Tapion is too strong and he refuses. Thankfully, by this time, Goku Ex Machina arrived just in time to invent a new technique right there on the spot and beat Hyrule. Boy, they sure could have used Goku back on Konats, right? So the movie ends with Bulma giving Tapion a time machine that resembled the one future Trunks used, and he returns to his home in the South Galaxy 1,000 years into the past. Because the time machine can now travel through deep space for some reason? Okay, whatever. It's a movie. Let's just go with it, I guess. Although he is a very cool character and I do wish we saw more of him and his lore, Tapion's impact on the series has created a number of fan misconceptions which I find quite frankly puzzling. At the end of the film, Tapion gives Kid Trunks his sword, and as the credits roll during the movie, we see a flashback of future Trunks slicing up Frieza. This, along with dialogue from the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi video games, has made many fans believe that Tapion gave future Trunks his sword. But when you use a little bit of critical thinking, you come to the conclusion that this is just not possible because Kid Trunks and future Trunks are not the same person. And they're not even in the same timeline. However, that does not mean that it's not possible for there to be another alternate timeline Tapion. Both in Dragon Ball Raging Blast and in Dragon Ball Battle of Z, it is stated that Tapion appeared in future Trunks' timeline at some point, successfully sealed away Hyrule without the help of Goku for some reason, and gave his sword to future Trunks. But of course, everything I just said is not in the manga, and thus, to many of you, is non-canon anyways. But like I've said before, just because it's not created by the great and powerful Toriyama doesn't mean that it isn't cool, and Tapion remains one of the coolest and most popular characters in Dragon Ball. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you down the road.